Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a hidden chapter of American history, guided by some really fascinating research that, frankly, challenges the story we all think we know. So, when you think about the founding of the United States, what pops into your head? The Declaration of Independence, maybe? Taxes? Tea parties, right? Well, the source material we're looking at today presents a far more provocative foundation for the nation's early power. And there it is. This is the central and, let's be honest, pretty shocking argument from our source, that the opium trade wasn't just some footnote in the history books. No, it was the very economic engine that built and sustained the early United States. So let's dive into how this all worked. Okay, to really understand this secret engine, we need to look at the life of one extraordinary and, largely forgotten man at the absolute center of it all. At the heart of this vast, powerful network was one central figure, Thomas H. Perkins. According to our source, he was a man shrouded in just as much mystery as he wielded influence. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Our source makes this incredible comparison, likening the real-life Perkins to the fictional John Galt. The idea here is that Perkins wasn't just some wealthy merchant. He was a man who believed he could literally shape the world to his will, all from the shadows, basically halting or starting the motor of the American economy and its political machine. And this was not minor influence. The research suggests Perkins was a true power broker, guiding the decisions of 14 presidential administrations without ever holding public office himself. So how does someone wield that much power from behind the scenes? So how did one man and his network get so powerful? Well, the answer lies in a concept that our source calls hegemonic control. Our source defines this as a system where the real players aren't always the politicians you see on stage. Instead, they're the merchants and the financiers who control the capital. And in this case, a whole lot of that capital was gathered from the opium trade. This slide really peels back the curtain on the inner circle of this great game. According to the source, power was concentrated within the super tight-knit network of Puritans, Jews, and Huguenots, groups with deep historical and financial connections to the big trade hubs of Amsterdam and London. This wasn't a club you could just join. It was an exclusive network where getting in or getting kicked out was entirely at their discretion. That made their control pretty much absolute. Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial question. If this whole system was so powerful and so fundamental to how the nation developed, why isn't it common knowledge today? How did it get written out of the story? Well, as you can see from this timeline, a bunch of shifts at the turn of the 20th century created a powerful reason to rewrite this part of history. As the network's money pivoted from opium to things like railroads, a new idea of the Americanization of the world started to bubble up. All of a sudden, America needed a cleaner, more heroic origin story. This mission, which the source calls the Imperial Cruise, was a huge part of recasting America's image on the world stage, and its scale was just absolutely staggering for the time. We're talking his Secretary of War, 7 senators, and 23 congressmen. And get this, the trip was paid for by taxpayers, and it cost $47,000 back in 1905. Now, that might not sound like a ton of money to us, but let's put it in today's terms. That's the equivalent of over $1.7 million. Yeah, this was not just some diplomatic visit. It was a massive public investment in building and selling a brand new American narrative to the world. So here's the crucial point. This wasn't a passive forgetting of history. It was an active rewriting of it. The whole goal was to transform America's image from being a key player in the global opium trade into a global redeemer, a moral leader ready to solve the world's problems. Which leaves us with a final, really important question. We've all heard that saying, history is written by the victors. But this story suggests something more, doesn't it? That it's also edited by the powerful? And it really makes you wonder, what other secret engines and forgotten figures are still hiding in the margins of the stories we think we know?